What's good, y'all? It's the one and only Nappy Head Fred coming back to y'all with another album review. Today, if you haven't already read the title, we are going to be reviewing Fat Joe, Me, Myself, and I. I actually like that title a lot. This is Fat Joe's 7th studio album released November 14th, 2006 by Terror Squad and Virgin and Imperial. And before we get into the video, I would like y'all to like, subscribe, and comment down below what other albums y'all want me to do in the future. But without any further ado, let's get straight into it.
Yeah, we get it poppin', them hammers go, the Spanish bro. Crucial conflict, I'm do or die with the flow, yeah.
First song we have on this album is Pandemic. I thought the title alone just, screamed like this song was gonna be fire. Obviously, pandemic, like pandemic that we had maybe in 2020, like the pandemic. I think y'all get the whole idea of what he was trying to do. But overall, I thought this song was a really, really good start to the album. The production is very, very good. I love the beat type. I love the sampling of Have Mercy on Me. It made so much sense with the blend, and just the sound overall just brings really good energy. So I love the production. Definitely thumbs up on the production if I haven't said production 1,000 times already. But I feel like when we get into the lyrics, definitely just a freestyle Fat Joe on this one. His flow was amazing. Wordplay was incredible. The way he was just putting patterns together with the rhymes, I thought was very impressive. And I just feel like he just went off the dome with this one. So I definitely enjoyed this for the first song on the album.
The penalty is death, and I'm inflicting the torture. The best of the best couldn't mess with the boogie down Bronxster.
Next song we got on here is DAMN. I thought this song was honestly pretty good as well. The production on here was very staticky at first, but it sounded pretty good overall. I enjoy the beat type of it. It definitely gives you kind of that, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I could hear this getting played in jail or in prison, where it's kind of like that background music. I could just hear it in the background in some way. But I feel like the production overall is pretty hard. Very good quality for a 2006 kind of production, so definitely enjoyed that a lot. But getting into the lyrics, I feel like his lyrics were very aggressive on here. He had some very dope lines on here, obviously representing anybody in the penitentiary that bumps his stuff. He salutes to the fullest. I feel like his wordplay was obviously very good. I liked how he kept kind of a steady pace. He wasn't trying to rap in a fast, crazy cadence, but I feel like he just kept the energy like very high with the production overall. So I would say definitely a really good song, especially the second song to start off. But honestly, I would say pretty underrated. I don't think many people go back to this song enough. But I feel like if you're a big fan of just hip-hop, you probably can go back to this song plenty of times.
We get money, man, that's how y'all turn profit. In the hood, they call me Joey the Prophet.
Next song we got on here is The Prophet featuring Lil Wayne. I thought this song was honestly pretty cool. Never thought Wayne would be featured on 2 times around this time, but I definitely enjoyed this song a lot, and I'm going to tell y'all why. I feel like when we start off with the production was honestly, it grew on me. I'm not even going to lie, because at first I wasn't really messing with it. It kind of sounded a little too janky and kind of old school to me, but I feel like over time the quality gotten better. The beat type is honestly really good, and if y'all don't know who produced this beat, it was DJ Khaled, which this was a younger DJ Khaled, so I think y'all get the point of that. But I feel like overall as a sound, it definitely blends in with Fat Joe and Lil Wayne on this particular song. It's not a very fast-paced production, but it is more of a chill production that I feel like you can nod your head to a little bit. But getting into the lyrics, which this song is already like 5 minutes long, and I think you guys know why. Fat Joe and Wayne kind of just spit one of their longer verses, which I expected. But Fat Joe's verses were honestly very, very good. I feel like he was able to stay on par with Wayne. I don't think he had a better verse than Wayne, but he was able to keep up with Wayne, especially with, Wayne around 2006 was literally in his prime, if y'all already know. But obviously, getting into Wayne's verse was amazing, and that may be biased because I am a huge Wayne fan, but like Wayne around this time was just killing it, and I'm not surprised he killed it with this song. He had a very steady pace, very nice flow, amazing wordplay, punchlines. Y'all get the whole idea. So overall, I would say a pretty good song. I don't know if I would say it's underrated because Lil Wayne is literally on this song, but I feel like for throwback songs, maybe this doesn't get as enough attention as it should.
9 check, 40 check, K's check, you be the first to go. Hey.
Next song we got on here is No Drama. I feel like this is definitely one of those like really, really, really throwbacky songs where it sounded good at one point, but I feel like today it doesn't sound bad, but it has its ups and downs, and I'm gonna explain why. I feel like when we get into production, it does bring that nostalgic into it, especially when you get into the hook. The hook is like basically, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a common hook that was used in the maybe early to maybe mid and even late 2000s that I feel like everybody used in their song at one point. But I feel like just the sound overall, it just sounds very throwbacky, which again, is not a bad thing, but songs like this don't get played like a lot over time, and you can just tell by listening to it over and over again. But I do feel like the production is still solid. I feel like it blends in with what Fat Joe is going to explain within this song, and it's not like nothing crazy, but it's just not nothing that's perfect neither. But getting into the lyrics, I feel like his lyrics were definitely dope on here. His cadence was amazing. His flow was honestly really good. I feel like he was able to just stay on par with the production overall. His wordplay was obviously really good. There weren't very many crazy lines on here that caught me off guard, but I feel like there's just one of those songs that you could just, like I said, play back then and it sounds good, but maybe today, not so much. But I would still say it's a pretty good song overall.
All my niggas throw your dubs up. If you ain't from the west side, put your guns up. Let a shot go.
Next song we got on here is Breathe and Stop featuring The Game. Not gonna lie to y'all, I really don't care for this song at all, and I'm about to explain why. I feel like when we get into the production, it's not bad, but I feel like within like the lyrics of Fat Joe, it just doesn't fit well. This kind of sounds like one of those kind of mafioso kind of beats that you would hear in the background of like a mafia movie, but like hearing it on a rap song, especially with Fat Joe, I just don't feel like it makes sense in a way. But production as like alone, I feel like it's fine, but together with Fat Joe, I just didn't really enjoy. But getting into the lyrics, I didn't find his lyrics that impactful, if I'm being honest. Especially when we get into the feature of The Game. Like, The Game was just the hook, and that's it. He didn't have no verse, which was very disappointing because when I think about The Game in 2006, I mean, why not have a verse on here? And his hook didn't even really sound good neither. He just sounded very raspy. And if y'all know The Game isn't known for hooks. So I don't know why he's on a hook on this song. But I feel like getting back into Fat Joe's verse, I feel like his verses, I wouldn't say I wasn't like mad at, but it just wasn't nothing I was catching on to, and I just couldn't really catch a vibe to it like that. So if I had to think of the worst song on this album, it would probably be this, because nothing really makes sense or blends in well for it to like be a good song for me. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. So I would personally pass on this song.
She's my mommy. She's my baby. I love you so much. You're driving me crazy.
Next song we got on here is She's My Mama featuring H Mob. Now, it is weird that I'm doing this particular song at this particular time because obviously Fat Joe has some allegations and they're not very good, but we're going to get into the song anyways. Let's just dispute that whole part. I feel like this song was honestly pretty solid. I feel like the production wasn't nothing too crazy. I liked it, the beat type, but the sound of the production was just kind of janky and kind of like not really creative on that side, if I'm being honest. So the production is a little mid, but there's ways it could have been better. And, you know, if they wanted to remaster this album, they could try to make some tweaks to it, I guess. But getting into the lyrics, which I hate to bring up the allegations because I feel like the first part that he says about a 16-year-old, it just, that's what kind of throws me off. I hope the allegations aren't true because this isn't really going to look good. But I feel like his verses overall we're good. I feel like he told a good story by like having a girl be by his side and obviously buy him stuff and take care of him, and that's why he's calling the girl his mama in a way because that's what dudes say like come here little mama, like all that crazy stuff. But I feel like H Mob's feature was honestly really good as well because his storytelling was very good with him just describing what a girl does for him and how a girl treats him and you know basically they treat them good too. So in a way it's more of kind of that like friends with benefits in a way where you just do stuff for each other. Y'all ain't in a relationship but y'all just help each other out, but obviously y'all mess around on the side as well. But if I have to say out of all songs, this isn't a song I would necessarily go back to because it's not that much of an enjoyable song. It's just one of those songs that I feel like is a good concept song, a good storytelling song, but it isn't something I would obviously go back to constantly. So that's really about it.
Yeah, I'm in this bitch with terror. Got a head full of stacks, better grab an umbrella, I make it rain.
Next song we got on here is Make It Rain featuring Lil Wayne. Obviously, I feel like everybody's kids and mama has probably listened to this song. When this song first came out, it was all over the radio. Easily the most popular song on this album, if not the most popular song in Fat Joe's catalog. But getting into it, I feel like the production was definitely really good. It had like some excitement to it. It definitely brought really good energy. I feel like the trumpets in the background were honestly really good. The beat type was also very well put together. But I feel like when we get into the lyrics was honestly really dope by Fat Joe. I'm more sad that Wayne didn't have a verse. He was really just a hook. But I feel like this song got to new heights, even with Wayne being the hook, and I feel like it was acceptable overall. But I feel like Fat Joe's crazy word plays, really good one-liners, very quotable lyrics within this song I thought were very dope, and it seemed like he had like 5 verses on this song. I'm not even gonna lie, like this song really carried on for a very long time, but I feel like this is still one of those songs that is a really good throwback song. It's a song that you could go back to and just be like, man, I remember this song. So I would say pretty good overall.
Anytime you see me, man, you know you won't be me, and you can't deny the fact that this fat nigga fly went for Sergio Bikini.
Next song we got on here is Jealousy. Obviously, jealousy is a very common thing, especially today where people just can't help but be jealous of someone instead of doing their own thing. And I feel like that's what this song represents, but obviously I'm going to get into it more when we talk about it. When we start off with the production, I love the production. The sampling in the background is very nice touch with the guitar playing. I thought everything as a whole was really nice. It brought kind of that nostalgic old school feel to it. So definitely love the production and also love the hook and the sampling overall. But getting into the lyrics, I feel like he explained it very well as a self-titled song, Jealousy. He's explaining so many storytellings of people being jealous of him about doing this and doing that. And usually when you come up in life, that's just gonna happen. People are just gonna be jealous of you and kind of like scoff at you in a way, and that's pretty much what happened in his storytelling. So overall, a very, very enjoyable song, a song that I could go back to at certain times. This is nearly a 5 minute song, but he's spitting straight fire. Wordplay is amazing and a very underrated song, I would have to say.
New York, yeah, we G'd up. Act up, clap the back of your knees up. Packing the Mac in the back of the beat.
Next song we got on here is Think About It. I feel like this song it was okay. I've grown to like it a little more, but I kind of struggled at the beginning, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like when we get into the production, it's not bad, but I do feel like the production kind of takes over Fat Joe's lyrics in a way, and it just has kind of that loud trumpet, really crazy bass on this. It's just like one of those really sounded productions that I don't think is necessarily amazing. It's good, but for it to overtake Fat Joe's lyrics, I feel like kind of threw it off in a way. Which now getting into Fat Joe's lyrics, his lyrics weren't bad on here. I feel like he had some really good lines. The hook I think was honestly pretty catchy. But overall, not the craziest cadence, not the craziest flow. I feel like he kind of rapped off beat a lot, and it was just kind of one of those songs where it was just, I don't know, it just wasn't as steady as I wanted it to be. So, I mean, it's an okay song at the end of the day. It's not really the worst song I've heard on this album.
Let me talk to these niggas. I fought with these niggas. Been a cop for these niggas. These is my niggas.
Next song we got on here is Hard Not to Kill. I feel like this song was honestly pretty solid. I feel like the production was kind of iffy because there wasn't too much a creative side on it, but I can appreciate just the sampling and just overall beat type pretty much. The sound kind of gave you this like weary, kind of old school, kind of just weary sound, which I feel like was okay piece at times, but when I heard it too many times, it kind of got repetitive after a while. So that's why I'm kind of iffy on the production, if I'm being honest. Lyrics wise, I feel like it was cool. I just didn't feel like he brought enough energy within this song. It just felt like he was kind of laid back and kind of boring in a way. There were really no hook on here that was like crazy enough to make the song better. I don't know. This is just like one of those songs where it's like a throw-in song. It's not a song that I feel like gets my attention enough for me to really listen to it and keep listening to it over and over. So, again, I would say overall another okay song.
Hey yo, she's the best sister, one man lover. If she died a tombstone, we'd read the world's greatest mother.
Next song we got on here is Blessing Mammy. I feel like this song was definitely really good. I would argue one of the more important songs within the album because the storytelling is obviously the biggest highlight of this entire song, obviously. I feel like when we get into the production, it's not the craziest production. I love the sampling of Michael Jackson, a young Michael Jackson saying Maria. Like, I thought that was a really nice touch. But the beat type overall isn't nothing crazy. The sound of the production isn't nothing crazy. But I feel like, again, when we get into the storytelling, I think you'll understand why the storytelling is way more important than the production. Now, when we get into the lyrics and obviously the storytelling, he's obviously talking about his mom that obviously went through a lot at his young age, and as him coming up in the game, you know, she dealt with cancer, she dealt with just obviously struggle and just trying to live and just be in the right situation. And he's just describing how much he loves his mom and how much he would do for his mom. And, you know, I feel like any of us men that have moms out here would obviously do the same thing. So I feel like storytelling wise, you know, his mom survived cancer, so that was amazing to, you know, hear. And just him breaking it down so well, you could hear the emotion in his voice when he's describing what he's describing. And, you know, towards the end, I feel like he was able to give a good, you know, quote and just honestly really dope lyrics. Not really crazy cadence or crazy flow, but just the storytelling was really, really good overall. So honestly, not a song I would listen to all the time, but as far as a good storytelling song, it's something I can maybe go back to every now and then and just listen to something pretty decent. So I would honestly say an amazing song.
Every sale that fell, there's a story to tell. They say you hustle, then you going to hell. Nah, I know God.
The last song we have on this album is Story to Tell. I feel like for the last song, it definitely plays a big part because obviously story is in the title, so you're gonna get a good storytelling. But I feel like overall, just the way he's able to describe the song in a way, I think is very important as well. But getting into the production, not the craziest production, I'm not gonna lie. It definitely sounds very outdated, if I'm being honest. It just doesn't really sound that great. The beat type isn't really nothing too crazy, if I'm being honest, but it is acceptable. So I'll just say that. So it's not the worst production, but it's really not as good as I want it to be, especially for the last song. But when we get into the storytelling, I feel like the way he was able to express how he feels about the rap game today, well, not today, but in 2006, to be more specific, I feel like he was able to kind of just mention how soft certain how certain rappers were at that time, and how, you know, bringing back Tupac and Biggie would just be a whole nother level, and just how many rappers kind of tell fake, you know, lyrics and fake actions that never really happened. And I think he wants to kind of go back to that golden age where rappers really told the truth. Not to say that I think they're lying about things, but obviously Fat Joe had a different opinion about the rap game at that time. But I feel like lyrics wise, I feel like they were honestly pretty good. Storytelling was honestly solid. The hook was kind of overdone a little bit because I feel like it was too long to be a hook at times, and he was kind of using, like, I wouldn't say auto tune, but like kind of that second voice in the background kind of thing that kind of sound reminiscent in a way. But I feel like for the last song, I'm not mad at it. I just wish there was better ways he could have made it elevate to a whole nother level, if I'm being honest. But right now, it is time to get down to the 6 credentials I have for this album. And if y'all don't know the 6 credentials, just go back to my other album reviews and y'all pretty much understand how this works. But first up we have is production. I honestly enjoyed the production quite a bit. There were some that sounded a little outdated and a little too throwbacky for my liking, but I do feel like the production is acceptable overall, especially when the time it came out. Maybe not so much today, but I feel like it definitely plays a big part of what kind of production he was able to give. Obviously, very good sampling at the end of the day, very quotable sampling. So if I had to rate it 1 through 10, I could give it a solid 7. I think a 7 is pretty good. Next up we got is features. Not that many features on here. We only got really Lil Wayne in the game, and I forgot the other dude, but I'll probably think of him later. But I think the features were okay. I feel like the Wayne feature on the first song was good, but on the second one, with just him being the hook, I mean, it was just okay. And then obviously the game being the hook on one song was kind of boring. The hook just wasn't really that crazy. Well, not the hook, but the features just weren't really that crazy. So if I had to rate it 1 through 10, I'd probably like give it maybe a 5. Next one we got is rap performance. The rap performances was cool. I feel like when it gets to kind of the lyricism, I feel like that was solid. The wordplay was honestly pretty good. I feel like he was able to talk about, you know, obviously him selling crack and him kind of going back to the time where rap really wasn't in his life yet, and he was able to give some good storytelling of that. But it's not really something that I would put on par with every other rap performance. I feel like there wasn't much versatility that I wanted out of this, because I feel like he kind of raps about the same thing within every other album. It kind of feels like. So as far as rap performance, I will give it a good 7 out of 10. Next up, we got is context. I feel like context was obviously very important, and I probably mentioned it with rap performance, but obviously him talking about his come up in the rap game and his what do you call it? Do you call it a come up before the rap game, pretty much? Because he obviously sold drugs and, hustled to get his money any type of way. And I feel like context wise, he stayed on context. So I would honestly give it a 10 out of 10 on the context. Next up, we got is creativity. This is the part that I struggled with the most, because like I said, it wasn't the most versatile album. Like, I feel like the different sounds in the production was very versatile, but his lyrics wise and the subjects he was able to talk about weren't really that creative to me, because I feel like I heard him on a lot of other songs, and there just wasn't a stretch where I was very impressed with the creativity to the fullest. The only creativity I was very impressed with was maybe the production, but features, no. Lyrics, not really. Like, there just wasn't nothing else besides pretty much the production that was creative to me. So I would honestly give creativity a 4. And last but not least, we got album cover. The album cover is not nothing too crazy. It's obviously pretty cool in a way. Obviously him just standing in a kind of that gray screen. Obviously on the New York landscape of a map, which I thought was really dope. But in terms of me being appealed to it, like if I walked into a vinyl store, is it the first album I would look at? Probably not. I'm not even going to lie, because it doesn't scream out anything. Like, it doesn't scream out any crazy coloring to make me want to really get it. But I feel like overall it's solid. It's not doing too much. It's not too abusive on the art. I feel like it's a solid album cover, so I would give it a good 6 out of 10. But with all that being said, as an album as a whole, I am giving it a 7 out of 10. That will conclude today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed, and honestly, I'll catch y'all next time.